everyone. Welcome back to News Channel 5 Plus. You are watching Open Line, and this is Ask the Attorney, where you can call that number right there on your screen all evening here for the next about 45 minutes or so into the show here. And you can call in, ask Kevin Kennedy any questions you have. We have him joining us from afar. Unfortunately, he usually sits right here next to us during this show. But of course, we are maintaining our social distancing, but that doesn't mean that we are not getting to your calls and answering your questions. We are still here. All you have to do is call in, and Kevin's going to join us right there on that screen. That's how this is working tonight. And so far, I think it's going pretty good, right, Kevin?
So far, I was thinking about all this time, and one of those old sayings, I'm big on these old sayings. Tough times don't last, but tough teams do. And that's why I love, really the audience is kind of a partner with News Channel 5 and the Kennedy Law Firm. It's great to have friends. It's great to have people who really do care about you. And I love always doing the show because sincerely, Casey really does care about the people, and that makes it so genuine. And so I'm glad to share tonight, and I want to encourage all those that may have a particular question. Hit us. You can hit us. We try to get to as many people as we can, and so we just look forward to hearing your calls.
That's right, and don't worry, we've got some calls on the line right now. Let's go ahead and get to Stan. He was on line 2. Let's see, he may still be on line 2 here. Actually, I think we lost Stan. Stan, give us a call back if you still want to get that question answered. But right now, we are going to be talking with Jill on line 1. Hi, Jill. What's your question tonight for Kevin Kennedy?
I just have a question. I'm in the middle of like a bankruptcy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I've been in for a year and a half. What happened was, like, my last paycheck, my attorney was filing for some kind of statement of debtor or something to stop them from taking everything from my paycheck. So,
okay.
Because I haven't been working since April, or actually since March 30th, so I don't have that money. So I'm in the. But I did use PTO, and hold on for a second. But so I'm in the. So my question to you is, I just received my last paycheck. Well, actually, it'll be tomorrow, which will be for 40 hours, but the garnishment took all of that. And I'm wondering if, I thought that they couldn't garnish all your money. I thought there was some kind of law where they can't take all of it.
That is correct. They can't.
Can I recoup that, or is that just the way it goes? And I'd like your answer to that.
Okay, as a general rule, they cannot garnish all of your money. Now, the question is, have you already been sued, and was there a judgment against you, and they're just trying to collect this judgment? But you are correct, so something's gone wrong. One of the problems that we all have, courts everywhere are closed to the public, so we're in a delay, and there's going to be a complete jam up of all these cases over the last 6 weeks because they're usually full all the time, and now it's going to be a glut hit everything. But you are correct. And with your lawyer, and remember, in the bankruptcy, if you were facing this, the sooner you file, there's an automatic stay. It's a federal law that they can't garnish you, they can't foreclose on, they can't do anything when you file that bankruptcy and give them notice. And so that's what I would do, is talk to my lawyer immediately, and then you may have to file papers to have that given back. If you're in a bankruptcy and they did that, you could ask for sanctions, and you can ask for attorney's fees, and you can retrieve some of that. Many times there's mistakes and they can be corrected, but you're right on it. So there's thousands of people listening right now that we know we're getting our last paychecks, and we know that lawsuits are probably going to come forward, whether they're filing for eviction later down the road or they're filing for judgments on credit cards or whatever. This is the word to all of you. Set out what you owe, know your account numbers, talk to a bankruptcy lawyer, and see what we can do and what we can't do. It'll make a big difference. Thank you so much, and I'm sorry. My heart goes out to everyone who is losing their jobs right now. I have a master's degree, and I spent the early part of my life studying the historical perspectives, and I've always been very sensitive to the crash of '29. And so, again, we know it's coming. My mother was a very wise woman, and she told me, she said, Kevin, when the stock market crashed in 29, we never really felt it in Tennessee till 32, and then it lingered a long time. And so, again, in the rental business, I'm in several businesses. People are having their monies, can pay their rent. Everyone thought it was going to be a great crash at first, but they've been paying the rent pretty good because they still have some monies. What will we expect down the road? So this is a great question for everybody to consider. And perhaps you haven't lost your job or your spouse hasn't, but you need to be making a plan should that happen. All the business owners have been making money. Guess what? This is going to have a rolling effect, and so where we just can't anticipate that people stop coming and stop doing business. So let's evaluate. Let's talk privately with a lawyer. Always take the proactive approach. That's Kevin Kennedy.
Great advice, Kevin. And Joe, thank you so much for giving us a call. We appreciate it. Now we have Jackie, who's been waiting on the line for us. Hi, Jackie. You are on Open Line. Ask the attorney. What's your question tonight?
Yes, I was back in January. I was in a car. Well, I wasn't in a car wreck. My car was hit. It was actually parked. The person who hit, there was two other cars. The first car that caused the accident had no insurance, but the second car that actually hit into me had insurance. I was just wondering, do I have any legal recourse against the car that hit into me, although technically he was not at fault for the accident?
Thanks for the call.
No, there's a bunch. Thank you so much. Thank you. I like addressing your question. Whenever you're involved in a car accident, any kind, move immediately to talk to a lawyer. Then the lawyers are going to try to find out who's got insurance, who doesn't. The vast majority of people don't understand you can get what's known as an uninsured motorist coverage on your policy, and you should do that, because especially now when people don't have the money to pay their insurance, are they going to eat or are they going to pay their insurance? I postulate to you they are going to take what money they have and have food, let the insurance go. So what does that mean? There's going to be all kinds of car wrecks coming out from this pandemic. Once they release, people have been cooped up, they're going to go, and there's all kinds of wrecks. Well, guess what? There'll be people who do not have insurance. So I never yield that it's this one's fault or that one's fault. I would talk to the lawyer and let him advance the cause. Remember, you're completely innocent. You are the victim of this situation. And is it seem right and fair for you to have your car tore up and no one's responsible? That doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem fair. So I would talk to a lawyer immediately. I want to talk again about a car crash. If you're involved in a car crash, if your children are involved in a car crash, your mother, so many people, they don't want to go to the doctor. Remember, the insurance company is going to use that against you if you didn't go in an ambulance. You know what they'll say? First thing they say, well, those guys weren't hurt too bad. They never went in an ambulance. Well, and a lot of people have a wreck and they don't want to go because they think they're tough and they can get over these aches and pains. Well, then the next day or the next day, the pain is tremendous. Then they go seek healthcare professionals. So I'm trying to teach the lesson. The lawyer doesn't really know everything. That's why he puts together a team. And you should have a healthcare professional evaluate you. If you're in a wreck, and you think that there's a broken bone or something, go get those x-rays. If you're having headaches, tell them. They put that in your medical records, and later all those records are part of your case. We have neurologists that deal with nerve damage. If it's a broken bone, we have to have an orthopedic doctor to evaluate that. And soft tissue injury, chiropractic care is wonderful. What is, for years everyone said, well, that's a whiplash case. That means that you whipped your neck forward. Well, what it does, it stretches the tendons. And I've had healthcare professionals tell me they go back, but they never go back the same. And they can create and show up years later with bursitis, arthritis. So you need a team. Take a proactive approach. I've already said that 4 or 5 times tonight. But if I were you and they'd hit my car, I try to talk to a lawyer immediately. First thing they're going to try to determine is who has the insurance, who's at fault. If you don't advance your rights, even as a young man, someone ran through one of my fences. Well, okay, I thought they would fix it. Guess what? If you don't make a claim, no one is ever going to fix your fence. Thank you for that question.
All right, let's get to our next caller on the line. You are on Open Line tonight. What's your question for Kevin Kennedy?
Hello.
Hello, is this Dee Dee?
Hi.
Yes.
Hi, Dee Dee. You are on Open Line. What's your question tonight?
Okay, so I want a judgment. Okay, I want a judgment, and I had submitted the information to her job for, I had submitted the paperwork for her to get sued or whatever, but when it came back to me, they told me that I needed her Social Security number. So I went and got, a lawyer or whatever, and
Yep.
he told me that he was going to garnish her paycheck, but now I'm wondering with the coronavirus and she's not working, how does that work? And could we get her back in court to try to get her Social Security number?
Okay, I'm going to tell you 2 or 3 things that can happen. If you got a judgment, that judgment is there. Do you have the right to garnish her? Yes. Do you need to know where she's at? Yes. So if we could ever locate that, and there's all kinds of tools out there. There's what's known as people searches for sophisticated lawyers that can run through that, and they can find a lot of information, and collection lawyers do that all the time. One of the things that you should always keep in mind, if you can't, you have a right to do what's known as an asset subpoena. So you get the judgment, and what we're going to find, there's going to be a lot of judgments, and guys don't have a job. So how are we going to garnish them? So then you might have to execute if they had a car paid for, if they had personal property paid for, you may have to execute on some of those things. If they had bank accounts, the same way. Again, what is an asset subpoena? That's where you've got your judgment, you go to the court file for an asset subpoena, they bring them into court, they swear, they go under oath, and then you can ask them, what property do you have in your name? And so many people, if they get a judgment against them, they're diverting, and that's fraud. You can't really divert all this property away with the intention to defraud another. But again, I want to make this clear. If you got a judgment, they have no job, they have no property, they can file bankruptcy, and all of it's wiped out. So a lot of different tricks. Why do we have a federal bankruptcy code? Because it's for public policy. There comes a time when a person just cannot pay. Medical bills overwhelm them. Or you got in a car wreck and you had insurance, but the insurance company said, we're not going to pay because there is an exclusion. I'm going to stop right there. Let everybody talk to your insurance company. A good understanding keeps you out of missing. Do I have med pay insurance? Do I have uninsured motorists? What are the limits of liability that I have? And I like to encourage people to consider an excess policy. What is it? Just costs just a little bit more. They call it an umbrella policy. I don't sell insurance. So, Kevin, what does it matter? It doesn't, except that I'm trying to help everybody that I can to try to protect their home, protect their children, and take a lot of grief off of them. So again, that's going to be a problem that we're going to see a lot of people face with. They'll lose their jobs because as a general rule, if they work at Walmart, you can garnish them. If they'll keep working, we get a paycheck, paycheck, paycheck.
All right, great calls coming in tonight. Thank you so much for, of course, tuning in and giving Kevin Kennedy a call tonight here on Open Line. You're getting free advice from the attorney. Just call that number right there on your screen. We do have a few callers on hold, so hold tight. We're going to just take a quick break, but we'll be right back to answer those questions. Keep it here.